This is Hockey Talk, episode number 10, where we talk everything hockey. We are recording on May the 16th, 2024, and I am John.
And I'm Mike.
Okay, let's go. Mike, the first topic is something I desperately wanted to bring up in this evening's chat is the McDavid, Zadorov, and Soucy cross-check slashing incident at the end of Game 3. Soucy was suspended for Game 4 on Tuesday. That game's already passed. He called the play an unfortunate incident due to the timing of the cross-check. Zadorov was fined a whopping $5,000. I know that's probably the maximum he's allowed to be fined, I'm guessing. Mike, what did you think of this mess? Did you find the punishment equal to the crime?
Well, when it comes to playoff hockey, that's generally pretty much the maximum that you're going to get for stuff like that. So, it's unfortunate. I mean, I know we discussed earlier that I wasn't a big fan of the refereeing in the playoffs. Like, they let way too much stuff go during all these scrums. They need to put a stop to it, like when they happen. And if they don't, then stuff like this happens.
Right.
You look at pretty much every series. Anytime someone's around the net, the defensive players are getting their shots in. And this is whether the offensive guys are there or not. Like, it's unfortunately, like I said, that's pretty much the maximum penalties you're gonna see when it comes to stuff like that.
So a game suspension and $5,000 fine. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much all you're gonna see for the most part through the playoffs, unless unless the player's seriously injured of some sort, then they will occasionally throw a 2-game suspension, maybe a 3, but how often do you see more than a 3-game suspension in the playoffs?
No, and it's been a while since I've even seen a 2-game suspension. Well, I mean, it's probably happened, and I just don't recall, but it doesn't happen very often.
Right.
So,
It's rare.
yeah, it's very rare. It's very rare. So, let's keep on talking about this series. I mean, because Edmonton played the other night, Edmonton and Vancouver. Edmonton tied the series. What do you think? I mean, you get that rookie goalie for Vancouver. He's played pretty damn good. Draisaitl, he's been amazing. I mean, just crazy. He tied a record, right, with 20 points in 10 or less playoff games. I believe he's the fourth person in the last 35 years to do it. I think there's 10 or 12 people that have done it, but I believe he's the fourth person in the last 35 years to do it. So what do you think of this series? I mean, it's the best of 3 now.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit surprising that it is 2-2. I was thinking Edmonton would be up 3-1 at this point, just because Vancouver's some of their big guns have disappeared again. Like, Pettersson hasn't done anything,
Right?
And they're lucky that the goalie Seeloffs has actually played really well.
Yes.
When you saw, like, last game, the Edmonton power play, it's just they're hitting Draisaitl at a terrible angle, and he's still shooting and scoring. I really thought Vancouver was going to win the game, though, when they were ahead 4-2. Edmonton got a goal, and then they the puck at the point with Bouchard. I don't know how a Vancouver player just didn't get in front of it. Like,
right.
But I think it was 4-2. Maybe it was 3-2 at the time. Anyways,
3-2, I think. But either way, it doesn't matter.
Right. So, I mean, and I mean, you heard Tocchet after the game saying that they've got too many passengers. So you have 5 or 6 passengers. Some of these guys have got to step it up. I'm not saying Vancouver's out of the series, but if they don't step it up, then they're going to be out pretty quickly. Because Edmonton's kind of put their foot on their throat now.
Do you think that Tocchet might sit a few guys out, put them in the press box?
No. He's going to roll with his guys. He's going to give them the chance to redeem themselves. There's talk that Demko could be back.
Yes, I read
next game
that.
or the game after. So I think if Vancouver loses the next game, you're definitely going to see Demko for game six. So
Right. Now, what do they do if they win the next game?
I think they still probably got to stay with Seeloffs. I mean, he's
Yeah.
played well. He hasn't given them a reason to keep him out. But if they lose the next game, I think they're going to go to Demko. I can't see them not.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go on to the second topic. And this is something I thought was really interesting, and that's Jordan Staal. He started the comeback in the third period. He scored his 36th career playoff goal. I looked it up, and Kuznetsov, he scored the game winner 3:06 later. And the Hurricanes saved their season, winning 4-1. And now they are down 3-2. Their power play is a whopping 1 for 20 in the series. Just awful.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike, I mean, you said you were watching the game. The game was 2-1 Carolina right now as we speak.
It's
Uh,
3-1 now.
oh, it's 3-1 now, so it's changed
Yeah.
since we started recording.
Yeah.
What are the chances the Hurricane winning two more games in a row and being the fifth team in NHL history to win a series, being down 3-0? And by the way, if anybody out there is wondering, five other teams have tied the series after being down 3-0 and lost in game seven. So, what do you think of this, Mike?
Well, I think they're going to win tonight, obviously. I mean, they're out shooting the Rangers uh, by like 10 shots. The Rangers only have like 5 shots in the game right now. So, but going into game seven, it's, anybody's game, really. But I still think the Rangers have the advantage of being in New York for game seven, should it get to game seven. Um, I mean, Shesterkin's got to steal a game here for them. I would assume. I mean, he's done it enough times that I don't think you can count him out from just stealing a game on his own. I still think the Rangers are going to win the series, but Carolina's definitely making it a battle for them. So we'll see what happens.
Man, I thought that series was going to be over Saturday in game four. I was so sure of it. And man, was I ever wrong. And now it looks like that Carolina could very easily win game three here, or sorry, game six and go into game seven. It's just
Yeah.
amazing how the tables have turned. Well, let's. So is there anything else you wanted to say about that series? Or
Well, I mean, Brindamore is a great coach. So
he is.
if there's someone that can, get his team to rally and play well enough. I mean, even though they were down 3-0, I mean, Brendamore's not going to quit. So,
No,
and he's not going to let his players quit either. I mean, you know, some teams may be a little bit different, but his work ethic is far too good to just um, call it a day, basically. So it was going to be they were going to battle, and they battled their way back into the series. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
all right. And I wanted to say that I really enjoyed watching Jordan Staal score. I it brings back
He's
some
probably got half
memories.
of those goals against the Flyers in the playoffs. So,
The 36 playoff goals, nothing to shake your head at. That's for sure. Like that's a lot
mhm.
of playoff goals. So, all right. Well, let's go on to the third topic, and that would be Boston and Florida. Now, Boston they also saved their season on Tuesday with a 2-1 win. Now they are down 3-2, and Boston really seemed to turn their game up. I noticed that they had 28 shots at the end of the game, and the other games before that, they were not getting anywhere near that amount of shots. So, is Boston in a spot maybe to do to Florida what Florida did to them last year?
uh, I think they'd love to do that, but I just still I don't see Florida losing this series. Whether it goes, whether they finish it off in 6 games tomorrow night or it goes 7 games, I just don't see Florida losing three in a row. Uh, I don't know if they've lost three in a row all year in the regular season. So I just don't see it happening in the playoffs either. I know there's talk that Marchand's probably going to play the next game. He practiced today, so he'll
Sure, but
probably be back
there's
in the
no way
lineup.
he's 100%. No way.
Probably not, but there's a lot of players that'll play in the playoffs that aren't 100%. But I just don't see Florida losing two in a row or three in a row, I guess, in total. But the next two, they're going to win one of those 2 games. fairly confident in that one.
Okay, well, that sounds fair enough. And our fourth topic, Mike, is the Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. Once again, we seem to be following a pattern here. The Avalanche, they kind of saved their series last night by winning against Dallas. And now they are down 3-2. Do you think Dallas will win game 6? Or do you think it's going to take them 7? Do you think they're going to win? Is Colorado still your favorite? What do you got going on here?
Well, I know when we made our picks for this round that I said that this was a series that I was probably the most unsure of about. Um, and with that being said, I picked Colorado to win. Uh, I mean, they dug themselves into a hole, so it's gonna be a battle for them to win now. But we'll see. I mean, last night, if they didn't score that goal with less than a second left in the first period, I think they would have probably lost last night. Uh, a key goal for them. They needed to get out of that first period with the game at least tied, and they scored with as 0.3 seconds left on the clock or something like
Yes.
that. So
Yes.
you know, yeah, Colorado, once they can get themselves going, like they've got the firepower, but they've lost Nikushkin, so he was in
That's a
the
shame too. I mean, that's a real
2 years in
mess.
a row this has happened. I mean, I'd be surprised if they had him back next year. I think they'd probably try to find a way to void his contract for this kind of thing. And then Dallas was missing Rupe Hintz last night too, so I'm not quite sure if he's going to play next game or not, but he's one of their key guys. So each team's lost one of their key players, although Colorado did get Jonathan Drouin back, who's had a decent year in Colorado.
He
So,
he did. He did.
yeah. So he's going to help them out to kind of fill a little bit of the void of what they lost with Nikushkin. So it's going to come down to Colorado's goaltending. Can Georgiev stop the puck consistently? Like, because there's some games that he looked pretty shaky.
He looked
You
good
know,
last night.
yeah, he looked all right there last night, but the game before he let in a floater from the blue line. I mean, partially screened, but nevertheless, and I mean Dallas, like we said right from the start of the playoffs, they're a very good team with a lot of depth. So, and that's played to their advantage. The only thing with Dallas is their first line has been relatively quiet. I mean, Wyatt Johnson, who's a third liner, basically, he's playing really well. He scored
Right.
a bunch
Yeah.
of goals for
He's
them, and
scoring all their goals.
yeah. So I mean, it's going to be. I think it's going to go 7, and I'd say it's a coin flip. I mean, you might give Dallas the edge with the home ice, but I'm going to stick with my pick and stay with Colorado.
Okay.
Um, Not going to change it. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I think it's good that you don't change it, really. But I mean,
Right.
if you
Yeah.
did, I'd understand because it doesn't look great. But Colorado, they squeaked out that win last night. I mean, they looked
Yeah.
determined from what I saw. Now, I didn't watch the whole game. I wasn't able to stay up that late,
Right. Right.
but what I saw, they looked pretty good. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. It's a really interesting series.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and Drouin, I know that we're talking playoff stuff, but were you surprised by the year that he had there this year? Because I was surprised.
Yeah, I thought he would have a. I wasn't expecting much more than like 40 points out of him because what has he done? Like in the last, since he's left Tampa Bay, he hasn't really done anything. I mean, he was expected to be one of the scorers for Montreal, and he didn't really do anything when he was there.
No.
And a lot of people are still angry about trading Sergachev for him, understandably. Um,
Yes.
but I think now that he's more settling into as like a complementary role as a secondary scorer and not being looked upon to carry the offense, I think that's helped his game out a lot. I mean, with Colorado, he doesn't need to be, you know, the top guy. They've got Rantanen and they've got McKinnon. So,
Right. Right. Okay. Well, Mike, was there anything else you wanted to go over in tonight's episode?
no, I mean, did we touch up on every series tonight?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
did, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did. Yeah.
So it looks like all of them are going to go, guaranteed game sixes or game sevens. So,
Right. Right. And it
uh,
didn't look that way at the beginning, did it?
no, it didn't. I mean, I thought the Rangers were going to finish theirs off quick. It looked like Florida was going to finish their series off quick. But here we are. So it's
Right.
good to see. I like seeing good playoff hockey. That not sweeps, not 5 games. I like to see these type of battles. So, you know, I'm sure that between now and next week, we'll see some good hockey.
Right, right. And I really thought that the Rangers were going to win their first two series and not lose a game. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
How wrong I was. I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I did want to mention one other thing. What do you think about? I'll just step back to this. What do you think about Edmonton changing their goaltending?
I think they kind of had to try to spark the team. I mean, it worked, so you can't argue against it. They're going to stick with Pickard for the next game too.
They blocked
Um,
a lot of shots too, didn't they, in
Yeah,
that game?
and I mean the other thing too, they had mentioned on one of the sports shows that Skinner has not played well all year against Vancouver. So I think
Ah,
maybe the change is probably part of the reason why they made the change was they looked at his overall numbers, and I know that they had posted them, but I can't remember what they were. But he did not have a good year. I think he only won 1 or 2 games against Vancouver this year. Um, so yeah, I think you know what. Um, I don't think Pickard is the answer, but if he can get them, if
he
he
might
can,
be the answer
give them
right
a,
now.
jump start, who knows? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen a backup goalie come out of nowhere in the playoffs and
Yep, it
you know
happens.
take over, right? So
All right,
we shall
and
see.
who do you? What pup do you have there tonight making the
Oh,
gestures?
that's Pax. He sounds like a bird with the way he
He
goes
does
sometimes,
actually.
but
It almost doesn't sound like
it's
a
not a
dog.
bird. It's my dog. So I think he wants some attention, but he's gonna have to wait a couple minutes.
Ah, that's all right, Pax. We're almost done, Pax. It's all good. So, all right. Well, uh, leave a comment down below and tell us where we went wrong. That's what the comment section is for. And people, please, please, please do not like, share, or subscribe to our channel. After all, why would you, right? Okay. So we'll see you next week. Later.
See ya.